Hello, everyone, and welcome to the two of us. This is Whitney Renee.
And this is Omari J.
Omari J. You
Omari
change your
J.
name every
I
time.
change it every time. How y'all doing this evening?
Oh my gosh. Omari J. Okay. Anywho, just wanted to kick things off by saying I hope everyone has had a great week last week and has had a great weekend so far and an even better week coming up as a whole. Um, so apologize because I know we've been like kind of falling off and slipping out of getting on here regularly, but just wanted to say hello to everyone. Thank you for tuning in. So what are we talking about today?
I think we should probably discuss not the affairs, but the events that are occurring in the United States and the protests that are taking place around the world. I think it's something that is of importance to us, seeing as we are Black and come from a Black background ancestry.
According to you,
Yes, I am mixed as well as Whitney.
I'm
Whitney is predominantly Black. I am mixed, but because I'm mixed Black, it still affects me. So I think it's a very important topic to briefly discuss. There's a lot going around, a lot of information out there floating around on the internet and in the news media. We're just going to take a little stab at it and just kind of vent our frustrations and let our listeners know kind of how we feel about the topic.
so what is your what is your whole feeling about the whole you said what everything's going on. So what do you mean by that? Because there's so much shit going on.
There's a lot of stuff
So
going on. So right now, we'll start with this. So yes, the whole coronavirus thing is making things difficult with social distancing and people supposed to be staying apart from each other. But then you had the death of George Floyd, which really hit those that cared about the Black community very hard. I do believe that it's important that we make our voices heard, but I'm tired. I'm fed up. I'm sick of seeing there's always a Black life that's being taken by the police. I'm tired of that. And this is the same thing that our community has been complaining and making our music over and essentially fighting the police about. Now, in this day and age, with social media, everybody's got a cell phone. Everybody basically has a camcorder, is what it is. It's not even that we all have cell phones. It's basically a camcorder. A small computer is in your hands and in your pockets, and these short videos are around the world in a matter of minutes. And it makes no sense that it has to get to this point where the police are being recorded. Hell, not even the police. What was the young man's name? Aubrey, that was just chased down by a bunch of white dudes in a truck with guns because they thought he was stealing stuff. Really? This is where we're at. You have to be video recorded by the community in order to even take steps towards a prosecution or to take steps for these people to be arrested. Hell, you got a gun and a badge, and that's not even enough. You, as the cop, are wearing the body camera. You clearly commit murder, and you're getting off scot-free.
I think that for me, and I agree, but I think for me, it's more so, I think everybody is feeling like they're tired, but I feel like what how do we, I guess, like, how do we change it? Yeah, we can protest, you can do a whole bunch of stuff, but like me and you were talking about, for me personally, I feel like there's a whole agenda behind everything that is going on. um and I say that to say this. I say, okay, so let's go back and let's go back to, like you said, the pandemic. So first thing they thought, or the first thing they said was, oh, this pandemic is coming, it's killing people. First, it was just that, right? Remember when it first came out, it's killing people. And then about a couple months later, it's predominantly affecting African Americans. Okay. So I'm listening to that, just thinking, well, how? There were so many articles saying that African Americans are the highest population that are dying from the COVID-19 because of underlying issues. But then when you look at the statistics, it's going by states that are predominantly black. So that would make sense. If your community is predominantly black, it's not that you're at higher risk, it's just affecting that,
There's more
it's
of you being
being
affected.
affected, right? So if we even take that into consideration, I'm like, okay, that's odd. Secondly, we already know that Mr. Waffle Face, I call him that because the way his face looked like
Who was that?
45. Um,
Looks like a waffle.
45. Yeah, he looks like a waffle. It's all smashed up like a waffle that's in a,
Been soaking in syrup.
yes, he's just, anywho. So he's getting ready to get a new term. So now the agenda is, what can we do to get the black vote? And I don't think people are really paying attention. They're not paying attention to that. So then you go to the stimulus checks, right? So that is a way to buy, I believe, to buy the trust back into the government. Oh, they're nice. They're going to give us this amount. I'm grateful for whatever it is. But that's still not going, in my opinion, that's still not going to sway my vote. So all of that happened. Everybody got their checks. And then the killing of the
George Floyd.
no.
Oh, Aubrey.
Aubrey. So he was murdered. Nothing really big, no major changes. You want to know why no major changes happened? In my opinion, everybody was so worried about their damn stimulus checks and worried about what was going on the pandemic. You got people out there protesting, open up the economy so I can get my hair cut. Like, there's so many other things that was taking us off of the true focus on what is really going on. So then all of that happened. If you notice, you really don't hear much about that. And that literally wasn't that long ago. It was a couple months ago.
You don't hear much about
The
what?
Aubrey case. It was
You
like,
hear, I mean, not, I
it,
wouldn't say the case, but
the whole situation, you don't you didn't really hear. It was like, you got a clip of it, you seen the video, that was it. They
a
did,
week later, it
right,
was something new.
and then boom, that was it. It was very fast, quick, in a hurry. Okay. Now people aren't paying attention because then remember, it was the killer hornets. So now everybody was freaked out.
That was fake.
I know, but listen, everybody was freaked. It's a distraction. People were freaked out about that. Summer's coming around. Jobs are trying to get people back to, stimulate the economy and get things working back up again. And then, unfortunately, you had the death of George Floyd. Now, you got many, 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 many Americans that are out there, especially. Let's talk about what happened in Ohio first before I finish what I'm saying. They declared a health emergency in regards to the state of Ohio, specifically saying that they had to apologize because they told African Americans not to wear face masks. You want to know why they told them that? Because so that way people weren't being feared, like they wouldn't be feared. Everybody missed that. So that specifically came out.
What do you mean they wouldn't be feared?
So that way they wouldn't be feared If your face is covered up, you have your face mask on, you're black, you're out there running. They declared it a health emergency. The fact that again, it's proven fact, time and time again, the health system has failed the African American community. So of course, why would you tell African Americans that they don't need to wear face masks? Okay. Then George Floyd died, right? He was murdered. Now you got African Americans who they say are at the highest risk of getting the COVID-19. And what are we doing? We're all out there in close contacts protesting with people, which I'm all for protesting. I'm all for, everything that people are standing for. I commend everyone that is out there protesting and doing their part, and everybody finds their own specific way to protest. But my thing is this, there's a hidden agenda, because it's like, you just told us literally a couple weeks ago we should be staying inside. We should be doing X, Y, and Z. We should be doing this and we should be doing that. We can't even go out and vote. So guess what? What happens? People are out there, they're protesting, they're getting arrested, they're getting shot the fuck up with rubber bullets. They have to go into hospitals, which is cesspool of COVID-19, especially since everything has opened back up. You know what happens? Now you got to seek medical attention. You could be putting yourself at risk, not only going to the protest, but everything else, right? You're out there doing everything. Then let's say you get sent to jail. It's all over the news. Nursing homes, jails, one of the main places where people that are affected by the COVID-19. So that's a sneaky way to kill off African Americans, I believe. But also it's an agenda. Well, let's get you all sick. Let's give you something to do. So that way, come election, you won't have the education to vote. You're
The
not going to.
education. You mean the
Well,
time?
yeah, you're not going to have the education time. You're so wrapped up on everything that's consuming you. And like I said, I'm all for anybody that is protesting. I just feel like there's a hidden agenda behind everything that's going on. Because my thing is this. I read an article this morning. I forget what state it was, but they were completely getting rid of, it was the military, the Confederate flag. Why all of a sudden now? You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand.
The military,
Somebody,
the Confederate flag has not been in the
hold on.
military.
No. It said specifically. Maybe it wasn't the military. It must have been a different state.
Yeah,
but
it definitely wasn't the military.
I don't remember what it was, but they decided to remove it. And then they're removing all of the statues and everything like that. And it's like, are you guys doing this because this is a sneaky way to get your agenda across? Because this could have been done decades ago. It could have been done the moment that segregation ended. They should have been gone.
Yeah, but okay. In theory, that sounds great. Yeah. But think about think about who runs the country.
Well, yeah, I get that.
The same old ass white dudes that run the country and have been running the country are the same old ass white dudes that were growing up during the time that all this shit was going down, the Jim Crows and the segregation. Maybe not in office, but there's some people that are still alive today that have seen those times.
Mm-hmm.
That should be telling. I'm not going to say it's a conspiracy or there's a hidden agenda or anything.
I don't think it's a conspiracy, but I think it's definitely a hidden agenda.
There might be
get to push things across. Like,
there might be a hidden agenda, sure, but what that might be, who knows? But this isn't a conspiracy channel, a conspiracy cast. But I mean, in reality, you have to think. So, and it was one of those things where I brought up a good point. So, was it Bank of America was going to donate a $1 billion or something like that, or $100 million to fight racism and this, that, and the other.
Mm-hmm.
But what I mentioned, the very first thing I mentioned, or first thing I said was, why now? Why does it? Right. Why does it take everything that's going on right now for you to do something? $100 million, great. Yeah, that's some money. But how much did you make in profits that year and the year before? Put it this way: how much did you make in profits since 45 got in office? Let's start there. And you want to donate $1 billion from the profits that you made this past quarter or this past year, which was a drop in the bucket.
Well, that's not what took the cherries off the cake for me. What took the cherries off the cake for me, that it was proven fact that Bank of America specifically had several cases of discrimination against African Americans. I don't give a fuck how much they donated.
Exactly. I don't care. I don't care how much money. I don't care if you donated Jesus' left leg. I don't care.
Jesus' left.
Jesus' left leg. I don't care. I don't care how much
why
money.
The left though?
It could be right, left, arm, leg. It doesn't matter. Why are you? I don't care what company it is. The very fact that it's taking you this long and you finally want to do something, go the fuck on somewhere. Nobody wants your money. Nobody wants your help. It's too late. You should have been doing this shit years ago. Ben and Jerry's, I give them mad respect because for years they have been fighting and doing their part regarding racism and systemic racism and inequality and this, that, and the other. They came out with that pecan resist flavor of ice cream to go against 45 because they don't want him reelected.
Well, yeah.
I can commend companies like that have been doing something. But for you to have been around for so long and you haven't done shit up until now, you're trying to garner favor.
Right. And that's what I mean by it's an agenda for property's personal gain. To move forward is what I'm
to move forward, but to get business, to look good, like because it was on a Facebook post, which is why I read the article and then commented on it. But a lot of people were like, "Oh, that's great! Yeah, they're donating money." Why is it everything is so all right? Yep, you're good in my book because you donated money. I'm not getting that money. I'm not getting $100 million. I'm not getting $1 billion myself. My family's not getting that money. That means nothing to me. Oh, here's $1 billion for the Black community. Is it really $1 billion for the Black community? Or are there these quote unquote Black businesses that you're going to give that money to that are secretly owned and ran by a white company? All that money that they had for that the Treasury Department was giving for those small businesses. I can't remember the exact number, but it was less than 10% of the of the businesses were Black owned.
Oh yeah, most of them were big,
big corporations and stuff like that, which was basically another tax cut for them. Why? For what reason? It makes no sense whatsoever. Which is why we've been trying to do our best that we can to support Black businesses. It
is kind of hard here though.
It is. There's not really.
There's a lot. No, there's a lot of Black businesses, but a lot of them
around the country. But
no. I'm saying there's a lot of Black businesses here in Ohio, but all of them are. A lot of them are like restaurants.
Yeah,
like
there's very few banks. There's very few car dealerships.
We don't have Black banks here.
No, there's no Black banks here.
Ohio.
Not in Ohio. No. Black car dealerships, Black grocery stores. Yeah, good luck.
Yeah,
good luck finding that stuff. It's extremely hard, but I think it's important moving forward that once and I've said it before, once all these old white men, they die off, old white men and women die off in Congress and all these like government jobs, there need to be terms put on everything. You can't be in the Senate or in the House of Representatives for 30, 40 years. Right. No, you need to cut that shit down. The presidency,
it should be a
4 or 6 year term. That's it. There's no reelection.
Yeah.
There's no coming back. Once you're in, you're done. Yeah. Get out. Move on with your life. New blood needs to get in there. And new ideas. Younger people need to get more involved. More people of color need to get involved and get into these government jobs.
Well, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just going to say, I want to kind of take a break and talk about that before we get too far
in that. Yep, but, that works.
So just give us one moment. Just going to take a quick little break and I want to touch back on as far as like getting into different positions and just kind of talk about that. So give us a moment and we'll be right back.